Do we think something, Ryen Russillo, I'm looking right
Stunned.
at you. Is
Stunned.
something going on?
Guys are in the locker room stunned. I mean,
They were stunned.
Wrong word.
Look, it's a semantics thing. I understand Kerr's point. Let's get some anger. And he's like, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know this. He's like, oh, it's definitely a Nick now. Definitely a Nick. They don't play great defensively this year. They've always been a great defensive team. It's very obvious when you watch them. The Celtics came out and showed a little bit of fight. They haven't had Clay. I got to see, maybe I'm just hard to impress, Greeny, but I have to see you be really great for a couple weeks to buy in or really bad for a couple weeks, and they're not bad enough yet
Stop
for me
being
to be
so
off
reasonable.
of them. I know.
This is what's
You
happening.
were laughing at this, what we're talking about.
Because this is what is happening in our country with discourse. It has to be black or white. There's no gray area. They just disagreed. They disagreed. It doesn't mean that they're not number one in the West. You know what that means? It means that they have 20 games left to go in the regular season, and they're getting ready for the playoffs, and maybe they got their tail whipped, but still, they're going to be the Golden State Warriors. When they get Klay Thompson back, they'll be a better team. They'll be fine.
Here's what it is, investment. And for Steve Kerr, he understands that the Splash Brothers want to be there as long as possible. For KD, what were you talking about during All-Star Weekend? We were talking about, do he and Kyrie want to team up? So now all of a sudden, hey, what does it mean if they're having dinner in Miami, right? Who were they playing that night? The Celtics. The Celtics beat the brakes off of the Golden State Warriors. Right after the game, I can promise you, all of the players on the Golden State Warriors team did not like KD shucking and jiving with Kyrie and Jason Tatum on the floor right after the game, after they got beat the way they did. So now you get into the locker room, those guys still feel some type of way. See, here's what happens. When they have that dinner meeting in Miami, we can overinflate it or dismiss it as media members all we want. But let's not forget, they got to walk back into those locker rooms. And when you walk back into that locker room, you're not even apologizing for it, okay? So now all those guys like, oh, you ain't really bought in. They might be going to New York. Okay, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's how that comes off.
But the thing is, like, whenever we start examining all this stuff, and like, who's to blame, and if you're my teammate, like, you shouldn't be doing that, you don't think these dudes are reaching out to Durant that are in that locker room with him now when Durant was in OKC? So, like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to get mad that he's hanging out with Kyrie now?
It's also worth pointing out that they are trying to win their third straight championship. There have been teams that have won 3 straight championships. There have been very few that have won 4. Because when you keep something together and it's that successful, there's a lot of pressure that comes in from the outside and eventually it explodes. Shaq and Kobe didn't get to 4. The Jordan Bulls never got to 4 because when you become the Beatles, which these guys are, the Warriors are the Beatles, there's a lot of external pressure.
You're
that
also
comes
not
in.
as locked in, too. Like, you watch, like, they know what the test is. So all these quizzes along the way, they're not going to take them as seriously.
But, and the same thing we've said about
Kyrie
Kyrie and how he's handled the media scrutiny is the same thing that KD's been handling it the exact same way. Those two guys basically do the same press conferences now.